I'm surprised she didn't trip because she should have, and she would have been forgiven. And she has set a good pace for the rest to also follow. We've had a conqueror on the land of the giant, Maxine Sedem Anku. Such a wonderful young lady, had the gut to find herself in Ghana Secondary Technical School. Now, Maxine is from Adiembra Senior High School, and then the High Schools Africa got her from her school to spend a whole 8 hours with Ghana Secondary Technical School, GSTS. And that is an experience I can't wait to just talk about. From Nana O says, Mr. Gosh, watching this is like watching a movie. Wow. I need to grab my popcorn and continue watching this episode. Very educative. The guy sitting beside her in the class is really experiencing mixed such actions in mixed school. We sometimes forget about the lessons and talk about love, discuss another lady or a guy. Look, I'm not sure I get this. Okay, well, I am picking the side where it says that the whole thing looks like a movie. And there's also a comment that I also received from a friend of mine, and I think it's something worth sharing. Cautious has proven to be a great filmmaker with the videos from High Schools Africa. The camera angles, music selection, and drone operation are all on point. At a point, I felt like I was watching a film. And, you know, this is a buttress to what I just read. Indeed, yes, I must say, this very episode, just like the previous episode, but especially this, it felt there was a lot of drama in it, especially between Maxine and the young man, I think Kelvin, also in the classroom. And that interaction with the production quality and everything together, it made the whole program look like it's a film. And you know, you'll be surprised to know that stuff like that can actually be shown. I mean, aside YouTube, it can actually be shown on a bigger platform where people will troop in and watch. But indeed, yes, it was a good production that was so engaging. Dorothy Asaram says, wow, hopefully this exchange program will be encouraged by the school in general and appreciated, for it's so uplifting for both the students and viewers. A great motivation to pull children out of the street. To SHS, just a bit disappointed that no one waited for her at the gate to release tension and lead her to the assembly hall. All the same, she was cheerfully welcomed in the hall. The fantastic atmosphere helped cool her down. Her self-confidence also paid off. Isaac Hassan says, actually, this women empowerment initiative, as well as Maxine, conducted herself very well in the midst of male majority populace on unfamiliar land, and I'm really impressed. Indirectly, she carried the entire Adiembra Senior High School to the land of the giants and politely promoted the reputation of the school through the manners. That's courageous and intelligent. I really enjoyed the content. I mean, the rapport that existed between the boys and Maxine was awesome. Bravo, Maxine, bravo, GSTS, bravo, High Schools Africa. I am gladly anticipating for more, but interesting as such content. This comment is basically talking about the girl, Maxine. And I must say, Maxine self-assurance and how vocal she is. It was fascinating watching her go through. Now, just have a look at the way she had to walk from the door as soon as she got to the assembly hall. She walked, and I'm kind of curious to find out why the production team also shot it that way. But you could see her walking from the entrance right to the stage, and she was walking there all by herself. And I can imagine the feeling, you know, with all these number of boys, over thousands. I'm surprised she didn't trip because she should have, and she would have been forgiven. This is the first time, and she has set a good pace for the rest to also follow. And I must say, she was welcomed very well, even though she's saying that she wasn't welcomed at the gate. It paid off, okay? They made it up to her on the subsequent events that happened. She was treated well. I think that a lot of attention also was given to her, which, of course, that's the thing, because then she becomes like an ambassador from her school to GSTS. So it is deemed on GSTS, the authority, to treat her well. And I think that is exactly what they did. I felt if they had not ended this program, this girl would probably continue. If they should give her 42 hours, this girl is still going to handle this. Maxine, you've done so well. Now, from Mamiel, he says, the young lady is absolutely brilliant. The lads were rather intimidated and looked so shy. Bravo to the young lady. Some of the lads did well too. Very confident and a bold young lady. To see that a person had the ability to freeze the whole school literally. It tells you a clear difference between boys and girls. And I can't wait to also see how it will be for a male to go to an all-girls school. I don't know if that's going to happen any moment now. But that sight alone, you could see that it froze the whole school and they were all cheering her up with all these. And it feels like it's a custom or it's a behavior, but all together made it entertaining throughout the beginning to the end. There was no dull moment. That young guy, Kelvin, yeah, was he sweating? One of the things that he said that, and Martin asked him, "Why are you shy?" And he says, "I don't know. I think it's a natural something." Yes, it's a natural something. But yo, bro, you are representing us, the men. How come? How come? Eh? But I mean, that's entertaining. What was going on between that eye contact, that stare they had? I don't know whether it was a coincidence or it was just a plot. It's like every moment was engaging enough. High Schools Africa, according to a frictionary, that's a new word. I like that. According to a frictionary, how far means how is everything? How is it going? Okay, eventually Goshes had to say, how is it going? So me too, I asked the question, how is what going? I like how Goshes told her from the beginning that she wasn't going to GSTS to tell them her school was better or that their school is better. I guess he took a cue from Therma's experience. I want to believe that also that they took a cue from the suggestions I gave earlier on, because I think when you take that out, then it just becomes just even if I should say it's mere entertainment, if it's just about competition or rubbing shoulders to see who is better or not, at the end of the day, it's still not even entertaining. So I think when you take that one out, you basically have nothing substantial to talk about. So yes, that's the core. And I'm glad Goshes addressed this in the very beginning. And I think that's how you should always go. You can even deepen it with the school authority actually grooming them. Maybe this can be off camera, but it can be done in where they'll be groomed and how to carry themselves. I don't know if Maxine received such grooming or counseling, but at the end of the day, she wasn't rude. She was respectful and her confidence level was way high. And she wasn't intimidated, even for a fraction. I love the message the headmaster gave. Life is all about experiences. Yes. Without experience, without memories, we virtually have nothing to talk about. And they are all together is what make up a story. And human beings cannot exist without story. Story is what keeps us going. But she should have visited a mixed school since she also came from a mixed school. I personally love the exchange program because of how both students brag about their schools. The norm and culture of a single-sex school is completely different from a mixed school. So comparing the adapting will also be somewhat difficult. Well, she did okay, and I'm enjoying this too. Kudos, High Schools Africa. I'm a big fan now. I don't really think that you need to come from a single-sex school to be exchanged to a single-sex school. I think that diversity alone is what makes it interesting. One reason why this program is successful is because they give the audience the opportunity to imagine themselves in a certain situations. Now, if you happen to have also come out of school, it gives you the opportunity to relive certain situations. So for me, it cannot and shouldn't be boxed now. Look at how the boys were all around the lady. There were certain moments that you could see that the boys were shy. Some didn't know exactly how they're going to relate with Maxine. Programs like that gives them extra social life on how they're going to comport themselves and how they're going to behave around the opposite sex, because the world is made up of two genders, male and female. So if we can coexist well, if we can relate well, that becomes a healthy way of life for people. So it must not be limited to just what you're already used to. It must be about something you're not used to and how you were able to conform and how you're able to just adapt. That adaptation is what makes it unique. We need more girls like this in Ghanaian school, in Ghanaian high school. She's confident, well-spoken, and intelligent. I'm really impressed by her. No offense, but I expect someone like this to be from Wesley Girls, not Adiembra. Okay, that is actually an offense. Even though I get to see where he's coming from, and I would say it means no harm. However, the word itself is not something appealing. I mean, programs like this is there to eradicate such thinking. Some years ago, where people used to say, okay, class of people like this are going to come from this kind of school and that kind of school. That is a cliche. There's no base to this, and there's no fact to back this. It is not limited to the fact that you have to come from Wesley Girls. Yes, Wesley Girls, they're producing intelligent students and outspoken students. Same way, schools like any school that is on the outskirts, they are equally producing. I think it's all about the teacher-student relationship. When we say school, school is just a structure. It's just a building, all right? But what goes on inside is what is really important. It can even be a veranda. It can be anywhere. As long as the information flow between the teacher and the student is effective. That's just it.